why can't a Rajasthani youth of Kota or Rajasthan, basically stay back and start something of his own, or try to create an infrastructure which can create jobs? Why does a youth has to move out?
I find it difficult to believe that people will come back to the country, primarily for reasons like, we don't have universal healthcare. A barrel has previously stored wine, and then you store whiskey in it. It will give a different flavor to the whiskey. It probably might a little sweeter. If the barrel is burned from the inside, it will give you a smoky flavor.
Do you think that we as citizens, we will get access to better connectivity in coming future?
Yes, eventually yes, but by when, that is a question. So fixed broadband will eventually come to every home, has to come to every home. There is no other alternative. By when it will come, that really depends on initiatives by the government. Currently, with respect to fixed broadband, assuming there is a 4 or 5 per household, this gives us approximately 30 crore households in the country. Out of that, approximately only 2.5 to 3 CR, not even 3 CR, 2.2 to 2.5 CR households are connected to fixed broadband. So let's say 95% or 93% are not yet connected to fixed broadband.
So Ronak, you were saying that there's scope in this industry, but while we say this, we see that telecom industry itself is bleeding.
Starlink is going to do what in India? The business case with respect to what Starlink can do in India is to supply internet to remote places. Our strongest point is that demographic dividend. We have youth, the largest youth in the country, below 25 years of age. The kind of portrayal that certain organizations try to make with respect to difference in perception of India being elitist and Bharat being the poor is incorrect.
Ronak, welcome to the show. So Ronak, you are the Kota boy, the local Kota boy, and the Kota as a brand is always seen as Bansalji classes,
Yes.
IITs, and the education hub.
Not education hub actually. So coaching and education are two different things. So it was known as coaching hub, not really education. But yes, Kota is well known for IIT coaching and also AIMS.
Okay. So Kota as a coaching hub, and basically for last 3 decades, it has been a brand which everybody knew. The parents used to aspire that the kid has to go to Kota. But for last 5 years, I think 3-4 years to be very specific, the sheen has gone down. What went wrong?
So more and more companies figured out there is money in coaching. So first of all, it's wrong to say that Kota was the only hub. There are bigger, better hubs than Kota. Just that marketing used to focus only on Kota, because this is how the Allens and Bansals, got into it. They set the narrative. There are bigger hubs, for example, Hyderabad, Pune, etc., etc. But coming to Kota, yes, coaching was one of the occupation which really fed Kota's economy. What happened is other giants, for example, Unacademy, Motion, Fitji, even Byju's at some point, figured out that we also need a slice of this. So now they could not go to Kota and compete against this Kota giant. So what they did is went to all state capitals and other cities. So this was a threat to the existing ecosystem of Kota, and hence the Allens and Bansals also expanded in the same cities where the other giants went to. So now what happens is, because of this establishment of coaching centers, good quality coaching centers in close by, people, for example, all the way from Bihar don't have to come to Kota. They can go to Patna, for example. From UP, they can go to Lucknow. In Delhi, there are multiple centers where coaching is well established. So So similarly in the south, in Maharashtra, etc. So local boy who used to come to Kota now is not coming to Kota and is going to his nearby city, wherever the centers are.
It's very valid. So, is it also true that you said that education or coaching, to be very specific, actually expanded, moved to different local cities of different states in the country, and that was one of the reasons the local student of that state or that city preferred to get educated or get coached around the workplace, around the birthplace, rather than coming all the way to Kota. So that was one reason. Kota as an education hub or coaching hub has actually taken a dent.
Yes.
Is it also true that because of education coming imparted through online mediums like Baiju or an academy, people or the students get more options to get study. They get access to data information, and that is one of the reasons they do not prefer coming all the way to Kota. Or it's a combination of both.
No, I would not say it is combination of both. I would stick to my premise or hypothesis that it is giants going to local cities and the boys stopping in the local cities as the reason why Kota has a dent. Online education, while it looks fancy and it sometimes works, it is not a replacement for classroom teaching, classroom coaching. Being an educator myself, I don't think online education yet has reached, with respect to kids, yet has reached that level where it can replace classroom based teaching. Why? Because getting kids and teenagers to focus all the day on a screen in your home when you have a lot of distractions in the home, it doesn't work. It's not easy. You need to be really, really motivated to be able to do that. While classroom teaching brings you out of the distractions at home and puts you in a focused place where everybody around you is focused on the same thing that is happening there. So hence, with respect to kids and teenagers, I don't think there is yet really a change coming from online education. There are few cases and it's good to possibly reach there, but home is not the place where you can really get the kid focused because there are a lot of distractions at home.
While we are going to talk about your journey in telecom sector, but let's actually focus a bit on education. You aspire or you enjoy talking about education, imparting education, expanding the horizon. Where do you see where we stand right now when we talk about India?
Well, a few years ago we used to say, or even today we say that our strongest thing with India is that we have a very strong demographic dividend of youth under 25. Which means this youth, when they are skilled, educated, and when they come out in serious careers, they can really grow India and take India to the next level. But we are, because of the lack of foundation in strong education, we are losing out on that strong demographic dividend. And this is a risk that as a country we need to tackle.
And what do you think we should do now?
Invest more in fundamental education.
Can you please talk about it more?
So education, if you have that 4-quadrant, what we need, when the top quadrant is where everybody needs to aspire, where the children are not only able to understand the concepts but also able to apply the concepts. So there are 4 quadrants. Let's divide education into 4 quadrants: knowledge, imparting, and skill set of the students. So you really need to be in the 4th quadrant. Everybody needs to come to the 4th quadrant. Now this 4th quadrant is only being achieved by metro cities, because you have good teachers in the metro cities. You have because of the peer group, you have students also of that in that zone. But as you go down to tier 2 and tier 3 cities, the level of teaching or the quality of teachers decreases. Because everybody who's ambitious moves to the bigger cities because there are bigger opportunities available here. I mean, let's face it, teaching is not the first profession of choice. The way we have our previous generations and our generation, and also the coming generation. Who says that I want to become a teacher?
I think around 2 decades back, I remember the ladies, especially the girls, the female segment always used to aspire that a teacher job is basically a job which becomes a balancing factor between the home and profession. They can actually manage both.
But what does it is it does it suffice to say that they were interested in teaching?
No, that was one of the reasons. That was technically one of the catalysts saying that, okay, I can get into a job and manage my home and kids very well.
Yes, exactly.
So it was.
So teaching is not first choice of profession for anybody. Generally speaking, okay, there are likes of C.V. Ramans, I mean, and Dr. Radhakrishnan, etc., who really wanted to teach. But by and large, teaching is not a profession that you aspire to be in. So who becomes teacher? Somebody who doesn't want to, who probably doesn't get opportunity something else, or has other challenges. For example, home and work, juggling home and work, or somebody who really wants to have a secure government jobs, because teaching in government sector, in government universities is secure.
So we spoke about Kota and the way things have changed in Kota, especially in last 5 years. You do not see the same kind of traffic of students now in Kota. And one bigger problem, which actually it's all over the media, is the ghost PGs or the ghosted real estate of Kota. It is all over media. Question to you, because you are the resident of Kota, you still live there. Is it true? Or is it
Yes.
actually a grave situation there?
Yes, it is actually a grave situation there. There are ghost PGs. There are even completely ghost let's say small areas of Kota which have completely become ghosted. Nobody goes there. There are huge infrastructure created, but nobody stays there. You will not even find dogs because they don't get food. So yes, there are ghost places in Kota. And what next for Kota? Maybe medical tourism, because Kota has good quality doctors. Kota is a satellite city for many nearby towns, and the infrastructure with respect to PGs is already there, which can be used to board, supporting people, whoever comes with the patient. So while the patient is in the hospital, these people can stay in the PGs. And the PG guy who was supporting students now can support these families. So there is possibility of creating a medical tourism. I will not say international medical tourism yet, but at least Indian medical tourism in Kota. But it needs other support. For example, a functioning airport. Obviously, increasing or investment in local transport, because you need to come from the PG to the hospital and go back. And food facilities also.
So Ronak, I think this, from my perspective, this is a great idea. Why? Because the real estate is already there. Okay, one question. When we talk about Kota, Kota has been the education or coaching hub. We understand that. Rajasthan as a state is basically known for the culture, tourism, and food. We really appreciate it. But still, I see that the local student or the youth of Rajasthan still tries to move out of Rajasthan to tier 1 cities like Delhi, Bangalore, Bombay to get employment or to start their own venture. Why can't a Rajasthani youth of Kota or Rajasthan basically stay back and start something of his own, or try to create an infrastructure which can create jobs? Why does a youth has to move out?
Well, this is so first of all, you missed another industry in Rajasthan, which is mining. It is it has a significant size, although most of it is owned by Lalas, but it has a significant size also. Now it employs a whole lot of people. The availability of white collar opportunities is not available in Rajasthan at the moment, because of again, lack of IT. For example, there's no IT companies having infrastructure or presence in Rajasthan.
Hmm.
To an extent, something in Jaipur and near and roundabouts of Jaipur, but nowhere else. Uh, and because of that, the ambitious youth has to move out. So Rajasthanis are known for what? Apart from whatever you described, uh, uh, Rajasthanis are known to be good at business.
Hmm.
Uh, Most of the CAs of the country, a lot of CAs of the country come from Rajasthan.
I agree with you.
And then what do these CAs do back in Rajasthan? They don't have that kind of opportunities available to them.
Hmm.
And hence they have to move out. So unless you already have a firm or your father is a CA and he's handing over the business to you, if you're a new CA, how do you get entry in that business? You don't have an entry, so you move out of Rajasthan to work in firms in Mumbai or Delhi
Hmm.
or somewhere else. Some of them even reach the top four, the big four as you call it, and then they get experience and then they generate certain clients of their own and they start creating businesses of their own. Somebody is able to do this, some people are not able to do this. But this is why, see, the dearth of white collar opportunities,
Hmm.
including in the traditional acumen of accounting. This is why youth of Rajasthan has to move out. There is nothing available to them for them.
So you are a global citizen. This reverse brain drain. Do you think this can become a reality? We have seen India losing best of the brains, moving to west or the east. Do you think that in this times or in coming times there would be a situation where people would be coming back to the country?
I find it difficult to believe that people will come back to the country, primarily for reasons like we don't have universal healthcare. While the healthcare is still very accessible, but it is not universal in nature.
Hmm.
At the same time, education and opportunities is not at par at whatever these countries, for example, somebody in the US or Canada or UK or Europe or even in Asia Pac countries.
Hmm.
They want their kids to be educated at that in those countries because the education is really better. India doesn't have that kind of healthcare availability or education opportunities. And if you come to India, you are so. For example, we have a population of 1.4 billion. A lot of kids are currently in the education system, and there is a race. I will call it rat race. And now, somebody who is not in this rat race, you would want to put that kid in this rat race?
Hmm.
No. So, looking at it from the perspective of kids and their future, let's face it, opportunities in India are less.
Hmm.
Then social, for example, if you are unemployed, you have unemployment, some packages available in the Western countries. That is not available in India. You don't have social security.
Yeah.
So how do you tackle these things when you come to India? First of all, you want your kid to get into the rat race. Then when, if at all, there is no opportunity, he doesn't have social security also.
Hmm.
And then there's no universal health care. There is rampant corruption everywhere. All the entire we still are in the license Raj.
Hmm.
Whatever we say, I mean, there has been significant progresses made towards ease of business, but we are still, practically speaking, living in license Raj. So then, do you want your kid to face all these problems in India? No, you would not want. So I don't believe that reverse brain drain is happening.
The software company and the network as a service company, they are telecom regulated. And one topic which has been across the globe being discussed for India is AGR. Would you like to talk about it?
It was the industry which hit itself on the foot with this idea of AGR. So initially, when the regulators came up with the license fee mechanism, it was a fixed price every year that the companies had to pay to the regulator. And then companies cried because some were big, some were small. They did their advocacy back at that time, which might be relevant and valid back then. And eventually they came to a formula of revenue share. Today, I would say that it was really stupid. Say that we want to give this much percentage of our revenue to you as license fee. This was really stupid. License fee should be only based on cost plus mechanism. So there is a regulator. The regulator has certain costs to administer the license and the regulations of the license. The terms and conditions, and only this cost needs to be returned. This is what the license fee should mean. What India did was, in order to support the industry back then, because the revenues from telecom were not very high as we see today, and the licenses cost back then were not will not be recovered with only a margin of revenue, for example 1% or 2% or even less. So they came across a formula saying that 8% of the revenues will be charges license fees. This is AGR. Now, to me, this is, now if we look at it, this is significant amount of revenue. In fact, if you look at the budget speeches of finance ministers in the parliament, they are attributing this as revenue from telecom sector, which was supposed to be only license fees. So what has happened is, this has really become tax in the garb of license fees. Now, normal people, laymen, would not understand in this manner because the invoice does not say that AGR component. But 8% of whatever you are paying to your telecom company, the government is taking it away.
So if I, as an individual, if I actually pay 1,000 rupees to my internet service provider, you're saying out of 1,000, 8% actually goes, 8% of the net, obviously there's GST included, 8% of the net actually goes to the Government of India, Department of Telecom.
Correct. Yes. So now, and this has become 65,000 crore rupees as per the speech of 2021 by Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in the Parliament budgetary speech. If you look at the budget document of 2021-22, it says 65,000 crore rupees earned.
And how do you compare AGR, the concept of AGR in India, versus any other kind of taxes or regulation across the globe?
So now, in the advanced internet economies, so there are countries are advanced countries and countries which do not have such advanced infrastructure and penetration of telecom services. Nowadays, it is very difficult to find countries which don't have high telecom penetration. But if you look at this development, some countries reach there faster and some countries reach there slower. The countries which were able to reach this milestone faster, you have low regulations and license fee is probably not there, or it is only based on the cost component. It is not with respect to the revenue. What is the point of, as a country, we are saying that from telecom services, which are essential services now, we are earning this much revenue. Now, this is a budget speech by the minister in the parliament. Who this money is coming out from? It is not coming out from pocket of the telecom companies.
It's the end customer actually.
It is the end customer who is actually paying this.
But Ronak, one question again, as an individual, as a citizen of the country. Frankly speaking, now telecom should not be categorized as a want. It is a need for the growth.
Correct.
So ideally, the government should basically push the department or push this whole industry by giving some more merits or giving some. I will not say AGR as a demerit, but again, 8% extra inflation going down to the customer. I think that could have been avoided because we need people to use more internet, right?
It needs to be avoided. We need people to use more internet. Internet needs to go to deeper areas also, to rural areas also. While we are doing good with respect to coverage of mobile internet, we are very bad, or let's say, I don't know, for a lack of better word, the coverage of fixed internet is pathetic.
So, one question which I really want to understand is that in last 10 years of your association with Extreme, you basically have accessed the trend of data usage. And especially post-COVID, the data usage, according to me, according to my study, has actually increased. What is your take on that?
Yeah, so data.
And how the telecom industry journey has been, especially from the data perspective.
So telecom industry has two components. One is voice calls or voice, and the other is data.
Hmm.
Um, when the mobility initially started, it was all voice. It was GSM, then GPRS, then eGPRS, and then 2G, and then 3G and 4G, and today what we see is 5G, and hopefully there will be 6G also coming soon. So slowly, what has happened is, so voice was primary communication service which was being used, and slowly with the advent of more Gs, data became the primary service that people have started using. Even now, with respect to 4G and LTE and 5G, voice calls are also primarily data calls now. So what has happened with respect to telecom companies is that there is shift of revenue from voice to data, but the revenue has only increased. The speeds have increased, tele density has increased. I mean, more and more people are now using mobile phones for a lot of their daily requirements, making payments, for example. India has done amazingly well with respect to Unified Payments Interface, UPI. NPCI, amazing, another brainchild of Dr. Manmohan Singh. But if you look at our digital divide, this is very important. Rural access of rural population to internet versus access of urban population to internet is significantly not synchronous. So for example, you have very little rural population accessing internet, and in urban population, especially in metro cities, you will find people having two mobiles. So while on the general number level, you will see more and more mobile plans being sold. But is it really creating a difference where this divide is decreasing? Who knows that? And to me, with respect to certain reports that have come out in 2021, 22, maybe 23, the numbers I remember on top of my head, only 25% students of the country have some access to internet. Library having a computer, a lab having computers, a family, there is a device in the family. Only 9% students of the country have dedicated access to internet.
Okay. So
I'll give you another one. And this will give you a stark division between urban and rural. Only 4% rural women have an access to a device connected to internet.
Just 4%.
Yes.
So network as a service, Extreme Infocom being the market player, who are your prime industry target? Right now you are dealing most with ISPs, internet service providers, but do you think this industry will actually expand the horizon? We've been talking about education, BFSI.
Yes, so everybody and anybody who has a retail mobile application, is a beneficiary of NAS services. This includes your fast commerce, e-commerce. This includes BFSI for their mobile banking or trading. This also includes universities, because online education is now a thing. So yeah, manufacturing for that matter, because they would depend on what are those sensors called? You deploy sensors around to get some data.
We spoke about Extreme Infocom, and Extreme Infocom, you started 10 years back with your relationship with Nikki, Plaman and Victor. I think, to be on a safer side, NPV. We know that Nikki, Plaman, Victor came to India, and they also have some other presence in other business opportunities.
Yeah, they are into Probably they have controlling stake in Excital Broadband, which is doing an amazing job by providing, or rather, I would say standardizing and aggregating cable operators on a platform. So, being an ISP, what they have done is they have created a platform which is aggregating local cable operators and providing internet via the local cable operators network. So everybody does. All the ISPs all the tier 2 internet service providers in the country do the same. But the way Excitel has kind of given visibility and into that cable operators network, ensuring good user experience, the kind of systems they have designed and put in place, the business processes, etc., that is one of a kind.
Okay. So Excitel Broadband is one of the leading ISPs in India.
Yes,
I think
fourth now.
Fourth now.
High-speed broadband, delivery of high-speed broadband was first started by Excitel when back in those days when broadband was only say 512 kbps on an average. Excitel came with the 5 Mbps unlimited data plan.
So Vivek is the backbone. He brought Excitel in India, and Vivek, along with the Bulgarians, have done a fab job there.
Yeah, a few more people in Excitel. You probably may know Mr. Amandeep. There are others are in Excitel, but yes, man behind the machine. If I would put one name to it, it is Mr. Vivek Rana.
You are India focused, obviously India and Bulgaria focused. Why not expand to different countries? I think Southeast Asia deserves to get you.
Let's first solve India's problems one by one. We have a lot of there is significant potential with respect to NAS services in India. So whatever we are seeing is only the tip of the iceberg. If you look at 2011 census, the last census of the country happened in 2011. There are 1,500 population centers having more than 50,000 households. Obviously, everybody is going to get connected to internet sometime. Now, how do you supply bandwidth to these 50,000 households? You need internet exchanges in India in 1,500 places. We are extreme is at 7. Nixie ran approximately 75 exchanges in the country. There are 1,500 places that we need to reach. India has a lot of potential, and it is true that there is potential in Southeast Asia also, South Asia also, but we were completely focused on solving it for India, and we still are completely focused on solving it for India.
Okay, I am very happy. I have got 2 connections. I am very happy with Excitel. I am very happy with Airtel. I got 2 connections because many people in home and we need a backup. Till now, the performance has been good. But whenever we move out of our comfort zone, that is our home, we see the buffering as a problem. What do you want to say on this? While we are very proud that India, the cost of telecom is very less, we are the cheapest.
Before addressing all these things, I would like to that India and Bharat. I would like to address this point. There's no difference between India and Bharat. India, that is Bharat, is written in the constitution.
Okay.
So the kind of portrayal that certain organizations try to make with respect to difference in perception of India being elitist and Bharat being the poor is incorrect. And we should not fall to this propaganda.
So let's talk about Bharat. I live in Bharat and I have a problem that...
You live in Bharat?
I live in Bharat. I will use Bharat as the name of my country. I have a problem. My connections suffer whenever I'm not in my comfort zone, whenever the ISPs are different. And I really face a problem, especially in my business. My kids actually face a problem in their education. The calls get dropped. Where do you think we are going? And second, to add to this question, where do you see how things can actually get improved if Starlink comes into India?
Well, with respect to Starlink, I will address that first because the other question will require a lot of deeper things to talk about. Starlink is going to do what in India, the business case with respect to what Starlink can do in India is to supply internet to remote places. The elitist, the top 1% of the company will probably have Starlink terminals even in their homes. Not required, but they will have. Uh, so supply internet to remotest of the places, and to supply internet to government initiatives. For example, Election Commission of India. Whenever it sets up, whenever the voting happens, internet is a requirement, and to make internet reach every booth is not very easy. So these are so there may be other use cases like Election Commission of India, but these are primarily the use cases that I am looking at.
Will the quality go up?
I doubt the quality will go up. The access will increase. Quality wise, I don't think Starlink is going to make that much difference in the country, because what we lack is a decent fiber infra, last mile infra, from the ISP to the end user. The cable that is coming. This is a major challenge, and no, Starlink cannot solve that. The price point of a Starlink terminal is very high, and I don't think Indians will be, a whole lot of Indians will be able to afford that.
So you spoke about geo air fiber too. So how do you see that?
So so there are two kinds of technologies. One is wireless technology, and the other is wireline technology. So whatever wireless technologies you deploy, it started with eGPRS, and then 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, and now 6G, and air fiber is basically using 5G or LTE to connect to the internet. Every G, or any G for that matter, is not going to be able to replace a fixed wireline connection, because wire, especially fiber, gives you amazing bandwidth availability between the user terminal, which is your home, and the ISP. Everything else is prone to physics. The more dense it becomes, more crowd starts using a particular spectrum, less and less everybody using that spectrum will get a pie of it, decreasing the speeds for everybody.
So do you think that we as citizens, we will get access to better connectivity in coming future?
Yes, eventually yes, but by when, that is a question. So fixed broadband will eventually come to every home, has to come to every home. There is no other alternative. By when it will come, that really depends on initiatives by the government. Currently, with respect to fixed broadband, assuming there is a 4 or 5 per household, this gives us approximately 30 crore households in the country. Out of that, approximately only 2.5 to 3 CR, not even 3 CR, 2.2 to 2.5 CR households are connected to fixed broadband. So let's say 95% or 93% are not yet connected to fixed broadband.
So Ronak, you were saying that there's scope in this industry, but while we say this, we see that telecom industry itself is bleeding.
Telecom industry is bleeding, but if you look at the top 2 or top 3, rather top 2, they are showing profits in their balances. The listed companies, the balance sheets are public, so they are showing profits. But the remaining, everybody else is not being able to show profits because of the nature of regulations. Out of the consumer's pocket, I will term this as consumer affordability. 22% goes to government without government doing anything. This includes 18% GST and 8% AGR. So if you are having a package of 1,000 rupees, this GST component, I mean, you actually pay 1,180 from your pocket, because you have to pay GST also. So out of total 1,180, 180 rupees is GST, and then another 80 rupees is AGR. So this comes to 1260. This is 22% of your affordability.
Okay, I think I'm not going to talk about the financials right now.
No, no, this is
but as
very
a
important.
user, if I really want good
No, no, no.
connectivity.
This is very important. Why do we need to talk about these things? Is why India lacks in infrastructure, because there is no money left to invest in infrastructure. So if a 8% AGR is approximately 40% PAT.
So there is no money left for infrastructure, and
Investment in,
technically in
yes.
our industry, especially your industry, telecom, if I talk about extreme and excited, the brain is there in Sofia, the R&D is being done in Sofia, and the execution and the optimization of resources is being done in India.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Correct.
When do you think things will change? When the R&D, when the brain, the think tanks are there in this country thinking about the local problems?
So, sir, our local problems initiate come first with execution, and let's first solve that before we create a big umbrella of solving the manufacturing, telecom manufacturing especially. Telecom manufacturing, we need to first solve for the semiconductors, the chipsets, manufacturing of those things. We are not there yet. I mean, and it will be years before we reach there. Do we have that kind of time to wait? For example, our, as we were speaking earlier, our strongest point is that demographic dividend. We have youth, the largest youth in the country, below 25 years of age. Now this is our strongest point. But now if these people are not enabled via internet access, how are you going to compete with the likes of China, South Korea, South Africa, Brazil, and already developed economies like North America and Europe? How are our kids enabled, their capacity enhanced to compete with their global peers?
So you are in an industry where the demand is unimaginable. There are constraints in supply, there are issues, and there are government regulations, over-regulated industry.
Yeah, I'm trying to educate the regulator, saying that you need to be liberating the sector. Um, okay, let's in 2023, Parliament passed a law, an act called Indian Telecom Act 2023. So while introducing the opposition was suspended, so there was nobody in the opposition opposing it. Which means everything that was said on the floor of the parliament became legislative intent. And if you look at the speeches made while introducing, passing, and supporting the act, you will see 4 or 5 major points. One is increasing affordability, two is increasing penetration, three is simplifying regulatory mechanism to a point where everybody can do business and increasing ease of business. But when you look at this act does not have a prelude to it. I mean, the act does not have a introduction to itself, does not have a prelude to it. So the intention of the legislature will only be learned from these speeches that happened on the floor of the parliament. You may talk anything outside the floor of the parliament, does not matter. But whatever you talk on the floor of the parliament becomes legislative intent. It becomes the parliament's instructions to the regulators on this is what we need to achieve from this act. Now, okay, the regulator worked hard. They have somehow figured out how to change license from the previous terms and conditions or previous rules into authorization with the new rules, and resolved a few bits here and there. But primarily the rules are legacy in nature and not changing anything on the ground. Will not change anything on the ground. The AGR remains same. The affordability question is not. So the parliament says that we want to increase affordability, but the government still going to take 22% out of the consumer affordability. I mean, if you want to increase affordability, please reduce that. Now, why this is important? So while we claim that India has the lowest cost of data, which is correct, it is accurate. At the same time, average expenditure with respect to spends on telecom is 1.66 with respect to spends on 1.66% of GNIPC with respect to spends on mobile internet, and 3.6% with respect to spend on fixed broadband. This makes it luxury. not an essential item. It makes a luxury item.
Hmm.
If your average spend is between 0.3 and 0.5 of GNI PC on internet, this is when you call it being in essential category. So after roti, kapda and makan, if you have internet, any sort of internet, you are into luxury zone.
Okay. Got it. Good, Ronak. It was excellent talking to you. I just loved every moment of it, every bit of it. I really praise, the work you have done and the kind of, life-changing events you had, especially from those lows to the highs. And I wish you best for future. There are some news, being brewed. We hope things come up very soon and we have another chance to congratulate you in person.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Amit. And it was really good. Me also going through some points of my journey.
I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Ronak Maheshwari today. If you want to get in touch with Ronak, please ping us on our social media platforms. Please like, share, and subscribe.